Good morning, America. How are you? Monday Morning Rail. I'm Denny Jelsma, and I'm at the world famous Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida, where the sun always shines and running trains is always a pleasure. Today is Monday, and you know what we do on Monday? You guessed it. We do show and tell, and show and tell starts right now.
Hi guys, it's Richard from the Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum. Today I'm sitting at the north end of Bowden Yard, where we have the Campbell Concrete Company here. I believe earlier that Greg talked about this scenery on this model. And today we're going to talk about the actual structure itself. Now, when it was given to me to become Capital, all it consisted of was the tank without a top and the bin and stand that was here. Also, the conveyor system was already pre-built, but it was in 3 big pieces. It was given to me and said, make it fit here. So I did. First of all, I had to close off the top of the tank here. So I took some styrene, just some flat sheet styrene I had at home, made a circle, and glued it on top. Then I filed down the rough edges to the outside edge of the tank. Came back with another strip of styrene, glued that in place and kind of trim it up and make it look finished off. There's some evergreen I-beams here that are glued in place to give it sort of like an industrial look. There's a flat piece of styrene glued on top. And this piece here, this 5-piece whatever it is, came from where I used to work at a hospital. Sometimes when the field techs would come in to repair our instrumentation, they would replace parts, and whatever this was thrown away. So I recovered it, set it in a bottle of bleach for about a week, and then brought it here. Well, added it to the model. I also added some styrene strip to the sides of it and to the top to just kind of give it some extra surfacing to make it look a little more industrial. The tubing up here is just a piece of wire. There was a hole existing in the top of this piece, and then I drilled a hole in the top of the tank and just made it work. Now, the actual structure, the stands and the tank for the granular material, was already put together. This piece sticking up here came with it already installed. All I had to do was to cut down the conveyor system to fit. We have some extra pieces laying over here just as leftover junk. And then on top of the conveyor belt, it no matter what I did to it, it looked like a plastic. Even the molded on conveyor belt. So what I did was I took some paper, just a piece of notebook paper, covered it with gray paint, and then cut out a strip long enough to wrap all the way around the conveyor itself. Once that was dried in place, that's where I left it. And when it got installed here, Greg installed the granular material being carried up into the bin. He also installed the granular material in the bin. I had put in a triangular shaped something or other, piece of styrofoam I think, carved to fit, and just glued it in place. Oops, ignore that. Let's see what else. Oh, the walkways. The walkway here and right here is brass. Walters has a kit for this kind of material. It's edged brass type material, comes on a fret. All you had to do is cut it out and bend it to shape. This little piece sticking out here is another piece from the fret that I cut down to fit. Then I added some more styrene to be the support piece under here. And the stairwells was also on the fret along with the guide rails, and the guide rails on here also. I just had to bend them up into place, and I used ACC to secure everything, because at the time I was fitting this to fit onto the structure, and I didn't want to get a soldering iron too close to the plastic structure in order to secure the pieces in place as I bent the railings up. So I used ACC. The ladder is just a piece of ladder stock I had at home to reach from here up to here. I do believe the kit also had these railings, this platform up here already. I just added the extension so someone can climb the ladder and get up to the top here. The only other thing I did was I added some control rods to control the water, the cement, and the granular material coming down the chute. The control hand turns, what are they called? Control wheels are actually freight car handbrakes. And that's pretty much all I did to it. I did add some detail work between the control rods. I did make the chute out of the styrene strip. The control rodding, but that goes behind the handrails, goes over to the individual water cement and works up its way up to the control for the granular material. Then when I just weathered it, painted it, well, painted it and then weathered it, and then brought it down here and let Greg do his magic. And that's all I've done to the capital concrete. Somebody else added the sign to it. That's the way it is at Jacksonville Terminal. Keep modeling, guys.